I can't believe it's already been 10 years that I've been playing Charvel guitars. It all started with the black one behind me, my Charvel Star, and it's been an amazing journey ever since. I've done so many records, guest solos, collabs, competitions, and of course, played on stage with these stars many a time. And I've accomplished a lot on these guitars, and I'm really excited to see what happens in the next 10 years. So with that being said, I'm going to walk you through all of them behind me, and I'll give you a little insight and a little story behind each and every one of them. Let's check it out. Alright, so this is the guitar that started my Charvel journey. This was my first Charvel, and I named it Devastator. This is a Charvel Distillation DST-1 Star, and I got this one in 2014, which resulted in this video 10 years. 10 years ago I got this guitar, and I love the specs right off the start. It came with a wraparound tunematic style bridge like on a Les Paul, 1 volume, 3-way toggle, EMGs, locking tuners, and of course 24 frets. And as with all my guitars, I hot rodded it. I blacked this one out entirely. And yeah, this started my Charvel journey, and it's been on every record and most of everything I've done. And this one was actually featured in my video for my song Darkest Obsidian. Check it out on my YouTube channel. And yeah, we filmed that down in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. And this was the guitar in the video. This was the first one of many more to come. And right as a swap to this one, I was coming out of my Stratocaster phase. And I loved blacked out guitars. That's how this one came to be. But as soon as I swapped, I started wanting to play just like a solid white guitar. And that led up to this next one. So getting the solid black one led to getting the solid white one. This is Storm, and this is the guitar I'm most associated with. It's like my unintentional signature model, solid white. And yeah, I got this one a couple years later, maybe 2015, 2016. And I played the absolute mess out of it to the point the frets are almost flat. But yeah, I blacked out all the hardware in this one, and I put a brand new set of white EMG 8185s in it. And yeah, like everyone associates me with this guitar in particular, and that's why I joke saying it's the closest thing I have to being a signature model. But I named her Storm after the Marvel character, of course, and because people joke saying my playing is like lightning, like okay, lightning, Storm, ta-da. But yeah, this is the closest thing I have to being my guitar, so to speak. And I've had people go out try to find the white one and track them down just to hot rod it like I did mine so they could have what Shredley has. And I thought that's cool as hell. So yeah, this is my bread and butter right here. This guitar has been on every record, and it's been in many music videos. And yeah, this is my go-to for pretty much anything 6-string, and she never lets me down. This is Storm. Alright, so naturally, I ended up getting one with a Floyd Rose, and this was a solid white one. And yeah, they came with Floyd Rose originals, which was crazy considering everyone dished on the Made in China Desolation series, but all the parts and hardware, everything included, was top notch, which still blows people's minds to this day. But yeah, I got this one, and I left it white for a long time. And then when Eddie Van Halen passed, I got the gumption and nerve to say I want to do a tribute on one of my main guitars. So me and my wife did. We tried to throw Van Halen stripes on it, and it came out a little different, but I think it coming out different came out unique. And yeah, this is like my own little ode to Eddie. Eddie was a tremendous influence on my playing, and especially as he was influenced on my don't be afraid to make something work for you kind of mindset, and that's where this came to be. And yeah, this guitar's never let me down. I've had many chances to play it on stage, and it absolutely delivered. And I named this one Striker, because it strikes with the Floyd Rose 100% accurate every time. So there you have it. Alright, so if I had to pick one guitar that I received in my collection in the most terrifying way, it would be this one. So firstly, this is Silus, and this was my first pretty finished version of these guitars, and this is the color they call Trans Black, which I say it looks gray. Sometimes it looks purple, or sometimes brown in different lighting. But I put all chrome parts, still has a set of 8185s in it, But yeah, this one showed up to my house um, in a hard shell case, which was an Epiphone hard shell case for an Explorer, which fits the star shape perfectly for those inquiring. But yeah, when my friends from work was coming over and they were like, hey, I was going to swing by, did you want me to check to see if it was delivered? I was like, yeah. So they pop in. I was right around the corner and they're going to pick it up for me. And they're like, hey, that's here, but there's no box. I was like, what do you mean there's no box? And they said, it's just sitting in the case on the porch. So yeah, this guitar was in the case, shipped to me from up north all the way down here. Anyone could have popped the latches and took the guitar out any time during shipping. Somehow it still made the trip. So to my guy that worked that deal out for me, I still appreciate you, but I don't know how we accomplished that. But yeah, so this is Silus, and this is one of my favorite ones to play. Absolutely delivers every time I need it to, whether it's on stage or in the studio. This one has been featured in one music video so far, in my song Astrum Parabellum, which will be on my 5th album, Travesties of Time. Check the video out on YouTube. But yeah, there you have it. My first pretty one that I got in the collection from this series, and it almost didn't make it. Could have been stolen at any time during the journey. So there you have it. Alright, so if you followed my musical journey through the years, you will recognize this guitar. This is the most sentimental guitar in my collection. This is the one I named after my mom, named Lisa. And all gold hardware. Got a gold with a red abalone top, volume knob here. EMG 5766 set. And yeah, very special guitar. So long story short, I lost my mom to cancer in 2016. And I'd always wanted one of these red ones to name it after. She'd seen one, I almost got one, it didn't quite happen. And for years, they would just keep eluding me until one of my friends, Mr. Jeremy Barfield, found one, and there's a whole video for this on the channel. And basically, he sent it to me free of charge as a gift. And to this day, that's one of the greatest gestures someone has ever done for me. And yeah, I had a lot of friends that made this happen, himself included. This little volume knob, had one of my friends that sent me one. And of course, my friends at EMG, they hooked me up. And yeah, this is the most beautiful guitar, very much the most sentimental one in my collection. And it's been featured in quite a few very special songs, as well as like live opportunities for it to be displayed. I don't break this one out unless it's a very special occasion. But I know we debuted my song Remember off my album Invictus with this guitar. We shot it on the beach in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. And yeah, very special guitar, absolutely beautiful. Pictures and videos never do this one justice. But yeah, there you have it. This is Lisa. Alright, so one of the other most important sentimental guitars in my collection is this one. My friend's named Mr. Aaron Burrell hooked me up with this guitar. I traded him 2 for this one. He wanted me to have it, so I evened things out for him, hooked him up. But this is my only other one with the Floyd Rose, and I named this one Sapphira, like the blue dragon from the Aragon books, and of course the one movie. My mom loved dragons, so it was perfect. And yeah, I swapped out the hardware on most of this one. I still got the original Floyd Rose on it, but it has a set of EMG 5766 on it. And yeah, absolutely beautiful guitar. This is another special one that I also only break out on special occasions. But most of my Floyd Rose workouts I do with this guitar live. And of course my other Floyd one too, but this one's just so beautiful. It's a treasure to play it, and always looks fantastic on stage. But yeah, there you have it, Sapphira. Alright, so to follow up Sapphira, this is Castiel. And this is one of my more normal shaped guitars. And this one is also from the Desolation series, and it's basically like their take on the Les Paul shape. And I had a friend I traded a few guitars off to get this one. I absolutely love the finish, and it's built like a tank. Like one of my friends that's always played around on it, he absolutely loves it because it's built like a tank and it has a neck like a baseball bat. And it can take any tuning and just keep on playing. This one actually saved the day at one show. I had it as a backup just in case, and we ended up having to grab it. And yeah, this one is also always delivered, and very beautiful guitar. Castiel, like the angel from Supernatural. My wife especially loved that. But yeah, there you have it. Got the EMG 8185s in it. 2 volume, 2 tone, 3-way toggle. Absolutely killer guitar. Alright, so this is one of the most metal looking guitars in my collection. Also has one of the worst boo-boos on it. So for starters, this one I got through a gentleman on eBay. He had listed one of these in white. And he's like, well, I got this black one. I've been contemplating if I want to part with it or not. He ended up sweet talking me into doing it. And he held on to it for me for a long time. And he had gutted it. So when it showed up, it was just the guitar body. I put a set of EMGs in it. It's the EMG 8160. And yeah, 1 volume, 3-way toggle. But yeah, I got it for a deal because it has one very bad boo-boo here. The tip of the headstock got broke off at one point. And I still don't know how, but it definitely was not me. You can't really tell from a front-facing view, but it's definitely there and it definitely bugs me. But yeah, we named this one Onyx because it's more of a dark looking guitar. And yeah, it's one of my few guitars that's actually matte black. Really, really cool guitar. Really fun to play. Really sick looking. So there you have it, Onyx. Alright, so this is not only probably the oldest guitar in my collection, but also one of the greatest deals I've ever received. This is my 1986 Charvel Made Japan Model 3A, an OG Made Japan Charvel. When I got it, it was missing some of the little fine tuning keys, and of course some of the parts of the locking nut, which I took most of it off. But yeah, 2 pickups, 1 volume, 1 tone, 5-way toggle. I got this guitar for a $100 bill, and it came with the guitar, an amplifier, and a guitar stand. The guy just wanted it to go to someone that would appreciate it, and it had been in storage. I had to go through it, clean it out. It's all original. Part of me wants to hot rod it to my specs with EMGs, but realist to me is like, don't do that. It's all original. So here you have it, and it screams when you play it. Like, I don't know if I'd ever break this one out live because it's vintage, but it's a really, really cool guitar. And yeah, this is definitely a sentimental one. If I ever parted with it, I doubt I'd ever get one again, especially for the deal I got it for. And I just call this one the 86 because we all love the 80s, and it was a really cool guitar to celebrate that era. So there you have it, the 86. Alright, so for those of you that have followed me for a while, you might recognize this. I believe this was a 1980 Charvel Star body that someone absolutely butchered. The reason I think it's that is because back in the day they had this tummy contour here, and like a little belly cut, if you will. And I think it actually had a Strat style tremolo on here, and then someone took a butter knife to it, jokingly, and routed it out for a Floyd Rose and butchered the hell out of it. This was one of the last few things my mom bought for me before she passed, and the day it showed up, the box just like drooped over. Like, oh god, the neck's broken, you know. Open it up, the neck that came with it, like the 12th fret was like resting on the body. It was awful. The neck did not go to it. But it has sat here for years, and only until recently I decided I wanted to do something with it. It was solid white, still smelled like spray paint when I got it. But I got my wife Virginia to do her artwork on it with a Sharpie, and then I took a Dremel and carved it into the body. But my vision for this guitar is I have a neck picked out to like a dark brown rosewood, shark tooth inlays. I want it painted to be like an emerald green, and maybe some metal flake in there, and then all the design, fingers crossed, will be outlined in gold. I think it would look really cool, really oriental, has some jade dragon kind of vibes. But yeah, I think this was an original Charvel Star back in the day. I'm trying to do something with it now. So there you have it. Alright, so something a little bit different. This is a Charvel Acoustic Electric that they stopped making in the 90s. And I'm not going to say it's a really sought after guitar, but me being such a hardcore lover of Charvel, I was like, I gotta have one of these, I gotta add it to the stable. So well, me and one of my co-workers at the time made the trip to New Orleans, and there's an elderly couple And this was a case queen. They kept it pristine since the 90s. I bought it new, and yeah, I think I paid $250 for it. And it is in immaculate shape and condition, all original, all the electronics work. But yeah, everything you've heard on my Through the Mirror EP was recorded on this acoustic. And we actually used it in the video for my song A World Without You for the acoustic parts. And pretty much everything I'm doing as of recent on acoustic, I do with this one. So yeah, there you have it. A Charvel acoustic guitar. Pretty cool. Alright, so these next three guitars aren't technically Charvels, but they're most definitely built in the spirit of such. And I think you guys will enjoy them, especially when we go into detail. So let's check them out. Alright, so this is definitely my take on a Charvel Super Strat. This guitar started out as a 2019 Squier Contemporary Players Series guitar. Yeah, that's only a few years ago, right? Well, there was a marketplace listing for this guitar and two others for $100. And this guitar literally was gutted. There was no electronics in it, no Floyd Rose. The only thing it came with was the empty blank body, the neck, and the little tuners on here. I had to put the nut on there. And I was looking at it because it reminded me of and I apologize if I pronounce this wrong, the Charvel Hendrik Danklage signature. It's like a Super Strat. This guitar reminded me of that, and I don't know, maybe Mick Mars, you know, with some of his old Strats, they look beat to hell and just cool as shit, you know. And I saw that and was like, I gotta grab this. I have all the parts at the house to make it into something. So yeah, I met up with the people. Me and one of my friends went and made the trip to New Orleans. And it was a younger kid that somehow got into guitars and wanted to take it apart, which I'm very proud of, and make it his own. And I asked him, I was like, what was the inspiration? He just kind of shrugged his shoulders, and I was like, all right. I think it looks kind of awful, but I think that looks cool as hell. So I was very interested. And once again, $100. Got this one, two others. And yeah, I put a set of EMG 8185s in here, pick guard with 1 volume, 3-way toggle. And there you have it. I put one of these other Floyd Roses I had. I think it's a Floyd Rose Special, Jackson branded one. And yeah, I really love the relic on this. Even the neck looks well played. And I basically built this out of spare parts. And me and the wife decided to name this one Scarecrow, because it's kind of awful and we like it. I actually played this at a really big gig a while back, real big show, to prove the point that if I could play a guitar built out of spare parts on stage and still sound like me, tone comes from the hands. That's a whole nother argument. We'll do it later. But point in case proven. Here you go, Scarecrow. Even did that with a pen right there. Traced it out, voila. So there you have it, Scarecrow. Alright, so this was my take on a 7-string Star, or Shredley Star if you will. I built this one in the spirit of such to look like Storm right there. I wanted it to be a 7-string version of it. So for starters, there's a video on this build if you want to check it out on my YouTube channel. Huge shout out to my friend Mr. Mitch at K&E Guitars. After years of luthiers turning me away, saying there's no template, it hasn't been done yet, Mr. Mitch and his crew made this happen. They had the balls to do it. So there you have it. It's a 7-string Star body. I'll have to look at the specs on the wood and everything, but it's nothing fancy. Got a set of EMG 8160 7-string set, 1 volume, 3-way toggle, 2 pneumatic style bridge, and I have a Jackson JS series neck on here, and at the moment some locking tuners from Tone Ninja. They do what they're supposed to an extent. That's another video for another time. But yeah, this guitar has been an ongoing experiment, lots of trial and error. But when I got the body from Mr. Mitch, I had to fine tweak some of the woodworking on it, make everything fit right, painted it, put it together, and it's been rocking ever since. This is Akari, and yeah, absolutely love this guitar. It was featured in my Paroxysm song and music video. You can check that out on YouTube. And yeah, this was the first step towards me making my 7-string Stars a reality. This was the first finished one, but yeah, absolutely love this guitar. I even threw the logo on there. Once again, This is a tribute, not a legit Charvel. I built this myself. It's built in the spirits of what a 7-string Charvel Star could be like. So yeah, there you have it. If you want to see the video of how I made it happen, check it out on YouTube. Very cool video, very amazing guitar. Akari. There you have it. Alright, so last but not least, but also a very important guitar at the end of this video, is this one. This is a Cypress Star body that me and my dad had actually cut from our family sawmill. And this is my current build. You can actually check for videos and updates as we go. My dad, we found a blank plank of cypress from our mill, and we basically sat it down. I sat on one end of it. My dad took a sawzall after we traced out with the black Charvel back here the design onto that plank. He took a sawzall and cut it out into this star body here. And everything you see here I've been doing myself by using a router, hammer and chisel. And yeah, when it's finished, it'll basically be the Mark 1. That's what I'm dubbing it, because it technically would have been the first, although it's taken me 10 years to get it finished. But this would have been the first instead of Akari there. But yeah, it's going to be the same specs. Going to have some EMGs in here, a stop tail bridge, 1 volume, 3-way toggle. And yeah, pretty simple setup. But this would have been the first, so that's why I call it the Mark 1, which is a Iron Man reference. You know, Mark 1 of many to come. But yeah, so there you have it. Once again, this will be built to look like what a 7-string Charvel Star could look like. Not a legit Charvel, but definitely built in the spirit of such. So there you have it, the Mark 1. Alright, so that's pretty much all the Charvels in my collection at the moment. I also have a lot of Jacksons, a lot of Fenders. I love Fender, Jackson, Charvel, even Squire. And yeah, so there you have it. That's most of the guitars in my fleet that I use on all my records, on stage, music videos, all that stuff. Everything you see me do, I do with Charvel. That's where my heart lies. I really didn't find myself musically until I found and played my first Charvel. It's been an amazing journey ever since. So yeah, that's what works for me. Definitely go check one out at your local music shop, guitar center, whatever's nearest to you. If you see a Charvel, try it out. I guarantee you're going to love it. So yeah, that's it for me. Dakota Amacker. 10 years of Charvel. Here's to the next 10.